Before we continue, I'd like to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, Shadowverse. Shadowverse is a multiplayer turn-based anime card game with a fun-loving community of over 1 million daily players. Now, personally, I really like the amazing anime-styled character artwork who are fully voiced in English and Japanese. It's free to play on PC and mobile, and guess what? You can get 50 free card packs for just finishing the tutorial. It's a highly strategic game, and you can play your way thanks to 8 distinct leader classes and a multitude of cards designed by some of the world's best card game players. Click the link in the description if you'd like to check out the game. They say that rivalries are the foundation of successful anime. This is true especially in a world full of thrilling battles and long drawn-out storylines. Not only that, rivalries allow for further development of character or a way to cap off something that's been brewing for so long in a majestic finale. It goes without saying that most rivalries end in a blow-off fight. Some of the fights are more notable, while some are quite mediocre. In this video, we're going to count down what are, in my opinion, 10 of the best anime rivalry fights in the medium. We may have some top rivalries in anime, but what are rivalries without those blow-off fights anyway? Bungou Stray Dogs had a lot of cool fights to its credit, but I think the one that stands out the most for me is the battle between Atsushi and Akutagawa. The battle, specifically the rematch, pits the overpowering shadows of Rashomon against Atsushi's transformations once again. Atsushi tries a different approach this time round. The new techniques worked quite well at first before Akutagawa brushes everything off with Rashomon. However, one thing Rashomon fails to do is to put down its wielder's determined opponent for good. Even space itself wasn't enough to prevent Atsushi's comeback, who does it in an epic manner for watchers to remember for years to come. Seriously, Bungou Stray Dogs is just so underrated for the great action it has. Reverse card open! The next fight is probably unexpected, but nonetheless a great one from a childhood classic for a lot of us. It's Yugi vs Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh's Battle City arc. This has been one of the showcase rivalries in the entire series of Yu-Gi-Oh!, so much that decades after the first season ended, Konami is still producing movies of the original series, one which starred Kaiba and focused on his rivalry with Yugi. For a card game anime, I think their culminating fight in the Battle City arc is one of the best rivalry climaxes you can ask for. Spanning over a month of actual runtime in Japan, the fight featured a sequence of events that displayed how a climax fight in a card game anime show should be. You see all the key cards being played in a swingy affair, and the fight also featured a nifty cut to a preview for the ancient lore about ancient Egypt that looms over the series, setting up the next arc. Not only did the fight feature the best out of both of the characters, it also had an emotional impact and nicely set up the next arc and the deeper lore of the series. It's no doubt one of, if not the best duels in the series. If there's a fight that encapsulates the raw intensity in Bleach's Arrancar arc, it's definitely his second go against Grimmjow. For me, Grimmjow is the best rival for Ichigo as someone who can match his beats with sheer force instead of someone who has a contrasting personality, as we can see with most Ichigo rivals. In addition to the action and the drive that the character showed in this battle, the reveal of Grimmjow's new form and abilities also made this fight a very memorable one for Bleach fans. The fight also ended in a simple yet impactful manner, with Ichigo simply overcoming the sheer intimidation and pressure brought about by Grimmjow's new techniques and finishing it with a resolute strike. This is a fight that shows off how far our hero has come and how well he matches up with probably his fiercest foil and rival. Unlike most other rivalry fights that feature Ichigo getting beaten around before finding a way to come back, this one seems the most balanced and intense one, especially compared to his final fight against Ulquiorra in that very Alucard's decisive battle against Anderson isn't just one of the top rivalry fights out there, it's also one of the best anime fights in the new millennium in terms of pure spectacle. It features possibly the most broken vampire in existence in the anime world, taking on the one being that seemingly stood a chance against him. Well, for a while at least anyway. I think that a number of us Hellsing watchers already knew that Anderson wouldn't be leaving the fight alive, and even he arguably had the same sentiments. Alucard is also too proud to not allow himself to die, just like that, and when Anderson transformed, it awakened the former's pride and pushed him to kick the training wheels off. Nonetheless, Anderson was gonna give Alucard hell before biting it, and in this fight that's become one of Hellsing's defining moments, he sure did. In a prelude to the long and wild ride that is the Shishio arc, we have Kenshin taking on Saito in a battle between two swordsmen who are more than familiar with each other thanks to their shared history. While not as overwhelmingly powerful as Shishio, Saito provides Kenshin the much-needed warm-up fight before starting the next part of the saga. In fact, I'd say that Saito being not as powerful as Shishio is one of the reasons I like this fight much more. He serves as a better opponent for Kenshin thanks to their complementing philosophies and skill level, and the result fight is a treat to watch both emotionally and visually. Not only that, the fight also featured some nice nods to Kenshin's manslayer personality. For something that could have been just a way to kickstart an arc with a bang, this fight really deserves some recognition. Goku vs Vegeta has pretty much become synonymous to the concept of anime rivalries. A long documented rivalry with many battles to show for it. I think the most important for me, narratively speaking, is the one featuring Majin Vegeta. For someone as proud and competitive as Vegeta, I saw his act of sacrificing his ties for more power coming a mile away. Who better to be his opponent in the showcase fight in that form than his eternal rival Goku? The fight itself was great, but I think that the best part of the fight was seeing character depth from it. While Vegeta sacrificed bonds for power, we can also argue that Goku held back in the confrontation, making an even starker contrast between the two rival fighters. Overall, the fight is great, and admittedly, its version in the anime has so much padding. But did you expect anything else out of Dragon Ball? Bakugo vs Midoriya is interesting for me. Midoriya's story of slowly becoming a true hero from being the underdog without a quirk has been one of the narratives that have captured the heart of anime fans in the past decade. Standing on the opposite side of our plucky hero is his hot-blooded and proud childhood friend, the combustible Bakugo. The tension that they had with each other would erupt in a battle thanks in large part to the resentment from Bakugo's sense of entitlement. The battle itself was great, featuring back and forth action with Midoriya even whipping out some cool new tricks and powers in the heat of the battle. I think the biggest surprise here though is having Bakugo actually come out on top in the actual battle. However, with All Might still sticking by his decision after the battle and giving the victor a lecture, it seems to be one of those won the battle but lost the war moments. I think everyone saw this coming a mile away. Why have a top 10 rivalry fights in anime video without featuring one of the era-defining rivalries in the world of shonen anime? Among their numerous encounters in the series, the final battle between Naruto and Sasuke was one that struck me the most. In my opinion, the fight is great as a fight with all those powers on display, but I would rather forget the spectacle that the anime version of the fight gave us in favor of the underlying message and how well it wraps up the key themes of the series and Naruto's own journey from the start. Having the battle end in a technical draw but an ideological win for Naruto is brilliant. It's a fight not about Naruto just overpowering the opponent, but about finally reaching the cold, unyielding heart that eluded him for much of the series' run. While paving the way for the epic conclusion of the whole story, Naruto vs Sasuke just falls short of the #1 spot because for me, there's just one more fight that drew out more emotion and chills out of me. Not all rivalry fights have to have flashy fireworks, extravagant effects, and complicated techniques. Perhaps what arguably the best rivalry fight in anime just needs is a good dose of emotion, great cinematography, and a long, well-written story for it to culminate. It's with those categories that I place Gintoki vs Takasugi as the #1 rivalry fight in anime. In episode 304 of the anime, the two longtime rivals go at it with an exchange that's quite graphic and filled with emotional blows. The fight seems less explosive than what you'd expect from the kings of shonen anime, but even with just sword techniques and heavy-handed blows, you can really feel the atmosphere with each blow that the fighters land and the amount of emotional investment the fight has for Gintama's loyal followers. A lot of people argue that this is the peak of Gintama, and after watching this fight multiple times, I'm inclined to agree. With that, we wrap up this edition of the list. Rivalries really spice up anime, and those are the 10 with the best climactic fights in my opinion. Do you think any other rivalry fights deserve a spot on this list? I'd love to hear your thoughts if that's the case. Please like and subscribe for more content if you enjoyed this video, and I'll be seeing you next time. Don't forget to check out our sponsors game Shadowverse. The link's in the description. It's a free-to-play game, and clicking on the link will really help out the channel. Keep yourself safe, have fun, and I'll see you next time on ViniiTube.